Hello, this is Chapter 14, the Organization of International Business. Our learning objectives: explain what is meant by organizational architecture, describe the different organizational architecture choices that can be made in international business, explain how the organizational architecture can be matched to global strategy to improve performance, and discuss what is required for an international business to change its organizational architecture so it better matches its global strategy. Three conditions for superior enterprise profitability. Different elements of a firm's organizational architecture must be internally consistent. Organizational architecture must match or fit the strategy of the firm. Strategy and architecture must be consistent. Strategy and architecture of the firm must make sense given the competitive conditions prevailing in the firm's markets. Strategy, architecture, and competitive environment must all be consistent. In organizational architecture, the totality of a firm's organization, including formal organizational structure, control systems and incentives, organizational culture, processes, and people. In organizational structure, it's the formal division of the organization, the location of decision-making responsibilities, and the establishment of integrating mechanisms. So we take a look at the organizational architecture in this chart. We can see the different circular nature. We've got the structure, and it leads to and goes back to incentives and controls. The same thing with culture, same thing with processes, and in the center, back and forth to the people. Control systems are the metric used to measure performance of subunits. Incentives are devices used to reward managerial behavior, and the processes are manner in which decisions are made and work is performed. Organizational culture, you have norms and values that are shared by the employees. Organizations are societies of individuals who come together to perform collective tasks. It's a distinct pattern of culture and subculture. People include employees and strategies to recruit, compensate, and retain them. There are three dimensions to organizational structure. Number one is vertical differentiation. It's the centralization and decentralization of decision-making responsibilities. Then you have something called horizontal differentiation, and it's the division of the firm into different types of subunits. And lastly, integrating mechanisms is used to achieve coordination between the different subunits. Vertical differentiation, you've got argument for centralization, facilitates coordination and integration of operations, helps ensure that decisions are consistent with organizational objectives, and gives top-level managers the means to produce change. It avoids the duplication of activities that occurs when similar activities are carried on by various subunits. Arguments for decentralization include giving top management time to focus on critical issues by delegating more routine issues to lower level management. Also, motivational research favors decentralization and permits greater flexibility and also can result in better decisions and increased control. In vertical differentiation, we have global strategy and centralization. It's typically centralized, the overall firm strategy, major financial expenditures, financial objectives, and legal issues. It may be decentralized with operating decisions such as those relating to production, marketing, R&D, and human resource management. Global standardization strategy, localization strategy, international strategy, and transnational strategy are all part of the organizational structure. In horizontal differentiation, the structure of domestic firms, functional structure, functions reflect the firm's value, creation activities, for example, production, marketing, R&D, and sales. Product divisional structure, each division is responsible for a distinct product line or a specific business area. Here's a typical functional structure. You got top management, and then the different business units report to top management, purchasing, manufacturing, marketing, finance, and then the other units below it. Here's a typical product divisional structure. You got headquarters and then product line A, B, and C, and then all of the different departments that are reporting to different product lines. The international division, it tends to be organized by geography and typically replicates the structure in the home market. Dual structure can create conflict and coordination problems. So here we have headquarters, domestic, and then the international division. The different countries report to the international division general manager. For a worldwide area structure favored by firms with a low degree of diversification and a domestic structure based on functions. Geographic divisions, worldwide product divisional structure favored by firms that are reasonably diversified and originally had domestic structures based on product divisions. It helps overcome coordination problems. Horizontal differentiation proceeds along two dimensions, product division and geographic area. Dual decision-making and dual responsibility here, often clumsy and bureaucratic. The international structural stages model includes this. And you have headquarters, and then it's broken up by geographical areas. And here's a worldwide product divisional structure. Like I said, it depends on the company and it depends on the products that the company produces and also what geographical areas are occupied by the company. Here's a global matrix structure. It's pretty different. Integrating mechanisms, international strategy, and coordination. The need for coordination varies. It is lowest in firms pursuing a localization strategy and higher in international companies, higher still in global companies, and highest of all in transnational companies. Impediments to coordination. Managers have different orientations, production, marketing, and goals, and maybe lack of respect between subunits inhibiting communication. Formal integrating mechanisms. The greater the need for coordination, the more complex the formal integrating mechanisms need to be, from low to high. You have direct contact, liaison roles, teams, and matrix structures. Integrating mechanisms continued. We have informal integrating mechanism or knowledge networks, transmitting information based on informal contacts between managers. It can be used as a non-bureaucratic conduit for knowledge flows within a multinational enterprise. It makes use of distributed computer and telecommunication information systems, and managers must share a strong commitment to the same goals, norms, and values. Simple management network here. Integrating mechanisms continued. We have an integrating mechanism summary. Multinationals need integration, particularly if they are pursuing global standardization, international or transnational strategies. It can be difficult to achieve due to impediments to coordination. Formal integrating mechanisms do not always work. Therefore, you must establish an informal knowledge network and build a common culture. Types of control systems. You have personal controls, control via personal contact with subordinates, most widely used in smaller firms. Structures, relationships between managers at different levels in multinational enterprises. And bureaucratic controls, rules and procedures that direct actions of subunits. Most important are budgets and capital spending rules. Then we have output controls, relatively objective performance metrics, such as profitability, productivity, growth, market share, and quality. Managers judge by their ability to achieve these particular goals. And goals are normally established through negotiation between subunits and headquarters. It fosters management by exception. Cultural controls. Employees buy into the norms and value systems of the firm and control their own behavior. It can reduce the need for other types of control systems. Incentive systems. Devices used to reward appropriate employee behavior, usually closely tied to performance metrics used for output controls. The type of incentive varies depending on employees and tasks. It requires significant cooperation between managers and different subunits. often adjusted to account for national differences in institutions and culture, and it can also have unintended consequences. Then you have something called performance ambiguity. It occurs when causes of good or bad performance are not clearly identifiable. Strategy, independence, interdependence, and ambiguity. Localization strategy. Performance ambiguity is low.
Perfect, thank you.
International strategy, higher level integration is necessary. Global standardization strategy, higher still, many activities are interdependent. Transnational, highest level of performance ambiguity, high degree of joint decision making. Implications for control and incentives. Cost defined as amount of time top management devotes to monitor and evaluating subunits' performance. Costs are greater when performance ambiguity is greater, and management must devote time to resolving problems arising from performance ambiguity. Here we have a chart on interdependence, performance ambiguity, and the cost of control for the 4 international business strategies. So for interdependence, for localization, it's low, performance ambiguity low, and cost of control low. International, moderate, 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 global, high, high, and high, and transnational, very high in all categories. Processes, how decisions are made and work performed. Formulate the strategy, allocate the resources, evaluate new product ideas, handle customer inquiries and complaints, improve product quality, and evaluate employee performance, etc. Efficient and effective processes can lower costs of value creation and add additional value to a product. Managing processes in an international business. Many processes cut across organizational boundaries, embracing several different subunits, or across national boundaries. Valuable new processes that might lead to a competitive advantage can be developed anywhere within the organization's global network of operations. Creating and maintaining organizational culture. Well, culture is a system of values and norms that are shared among people. Founders or leaders have a profound impact. Other sources include the broader social culture of the nation and also the history of the entity or enterprise. Culture is maintained by hiring and promotional practices of the organization, reward strategies, socialization processes, either formal or informal, and the communication strategy, corporate mission statements, stories, and symbols. Strong cultures. All managers share a consistent set of values and norms that have a clear impact on work performance. Strong doesn't necessarily mean good. We also have adaptive cultures. Most managers care deeply about and value customers, stockholders, and employees. People and processes that create useful change are valued. In the localization strategy for strategy and architecture under synthesis, you must focus on local responsiveness. Operating decisions are decentralized to functionally self-contained country subsidiaries. The need for coordination or integrating mechanisms is low. International strategy. Firms attempt to create value by transferring core competencies from home to foreign subsidiaries. Headquarters maintains centralized control over firm's core competency, and other decisions are decentralized. And there's also moderate need for coordination. In global standardization strategy, the firms focus on the realization of location and experience curve economies. Headquarters typically maintains ultimate control over most operating decisions, and the need for integration and a strong organizational culture is high. Incentive systems are typically linked to performance metrics at the corporate level. And the transnational strategy focuses on simultaneous attainments of location and experience curve economies, local responsiveness, and global learning. Some operating decisions are centralized, like production and R&D, but the need for coordination is high, and the need of strong culture and incentives to promote cooperation. Environment, strategy, architecture, and performance. The firm's strategy must be consistent with the environment in which the firm operates. The firm's organizational architecture must be consistent with its strategy. Organizational inertia. Well, it may be caused by existing distribution of power and influence within an organization, existing culture expressed in norms and value systems, and senior managers' preconceptions about the appropriate business model or business paradigm, institutional constraints such as national regulations, implementing organizational change, unfreezing the organization. It may require bold action. Senior management must articulate need for change and take steps. Moving to the new state, it requires substantial change and sufficient speed. Refreezing the organization, long-term endeavor. New culture must be established while old is dismantled. I thank you for listening.